time is an illusion, it's all blurring together on me. I do feel like I've been training my entire life for this lockdown. Your favorite brand of toilet paper is sold out or something. I can hear people outside. What are you doing? Get inside. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I am Yvette and I moved to the UK in May last year and I am documenting my experiences. So, firstly, apologies, I didn't get a video out on Wednesday. The reason for that is that with everything going on, I'm not going to use the C word, we all know what is happening. My personal work, the work that pays the bills, has ramped up somehow and has gotten busier. So I actually didn't have any time to sit down and dedicate a video. That said, I also am suffering from lack of creative juices because of everything that's going on. I'm finding it all quite draining. So what I wanted to do for today's video was, I think it would be helpful and I think it would be productive for everyone's mental health to make a list of, say, however many, I'm going to do 5 things that I'm sad about, because while obviously there's always going to be someone in a worse situation than you, it's okay to be disappointed that some of your events aren't happening. So I personally I'm not fussed, but I know friends who had tickets to the Euro Cup. Like, obviously that is not as important as life or death, but it's still important to almost grieve for the loss of your thing. Except that, yes, I feel disappointed, but it is what it is. Feel the emotion, move on. Yeah, so I'm gonna have 5 of those, and then I'm also gonna put 10 things I'm grateful for. So that's the important thing, is while you're accepting and addressing that, yes, I'm disappointed in not being able to see my parents or whatever it is, I'm grateful for the internet so I can FaceTime them. Things like that. So it's like the obvious negative feeling. It's not helpful for you to ignore them and say like, oh, well, my feelings aren't important, because they are. Even if they are trivial and like, you know, your favorite brand of toilet paper is sold out or something. That said, I'll tell you what, I am an introvert. Shocking, I know, the girl who sits in her apartment and films herself talking to a camera. An introvert, who would have thought? However, I do feel like I've been training my entire life for this lockdown, because I don't mind being in the house. I'm like pretty okay with staying. I don't go stir crazy necessarily from being in my apartment. Although I could use a garden, because you know my apartment. If you've been around a long time, I've done an apartment tour, which will be linked around. So you know this place is not big. So for 2 people working full-time from home, it's like trying to do telecons and that from each other's room and not being able to get outside is sometimes a struggle. But I still like it. I'm like, I'll have my internet, I have my books. What else do I need? So if anything, I've got too many telecons from work, so I need less social interaction than I'm currently getting. But that said, I'm going to try and alternate. So we'll do 1 negative, 1 positive to keep it, you know, not all sad. So first thing I'm disappointed about is that it was my anniversary last week. Time is an illusion, it's all blurring together on me. The 24th of May was my anniversary with Daniel. We had planned to go see Hamilton, because I haven't seen it and everyone talks about how great it is. So I haven't seen Hamilton, that got cancelled. Happy that they refunded the tickets to 110% of the value, so we get a little bit of money back, which is nice. But disappointing that we couldn't go and that we didn't get to really do anything different, because we've been very good. This is actually our 3rd week in quarantine, because we quarantined before the lockdown because we were trying to be helpful. So we've already been in the apartment for a long time. So we didn't get to, so basically the anniversary itself didn't feel any different to any other day, which sucks. And all of the gifts I was trying to get Daniel sold out, because I was trying to get him exercise equipment, which turns out so was the rest of the UK. So I couldn't do gifts either, which sucks. So we're just gonna do a redo later. But what we did do, because we wanted to see Hamilton, which is supposed to be like the best play in the world. I haven't seen it, so don't come for me. So we decided to watch Cats instead, so watch the worst. So we watched Cats, made a drinking game out of it. So every time a cat went to kiss and like nuzzled its face, or every time there was a bad pun, or every time there was a sexy cat, you had to take a drink. And that was actually quite a lot of fun. So positive into a negative, but yeah, not how I would have originally thought I would spend my anniversary. But number one thing I'm grateful for, above all else, I'm grateful that my job is still functioning. I'm still working, I'm still getting paid. I just have to work from home. I know that I'm so lucky to have that. I know there's so many people who have either been made redundant or just they're getting no shifts or they're being forced to take holidays. Like, there are so many scenarios and I'm so fortunate. So I complain that my work's quite busy, but I should be seeing that as a positive, because I'm sure everyone who's at home learning TikTok dances would probably rather be being paid. So yeah, I'm so happy, so grateful that my job is, we'll see how far we go, but so far it should be safe, which I shouldn't be one of the people who ends up losing my job, but you never know. So one of the things I'm like slightly disappointed with, it's really not a big deal in the scheme of things, but is that over Christmas and winter, over like the January, February time, I didn't exercise properly, I didn't eat properly, so my body was not in like tip-top shape, and I was just seeing progress. And then the gym is closed, which sucks a bit. And then I tried to buy gym equipment, as I said, and everything is sold out. So it's annoying because like I was like, I just started to get my body back to where I'm happy with it. And here we are. And to be honest, I do not stop snacking when I'm in this quarantine. It's so bad. I eat so many meals a day. After like the first week, I probably put on so much weight. Like, I undid everything. Because there was no gym and just a fridge full of food, and that was bad times. So that sucks. However, I am grateful for the fact that we get to go outside for exercise every day. We're not in like that severe of a lockdown. So I get to exercise outside. So I get to go to the park, I'll do a circuit, obviously at a safe distance, away from everyone, but I'm making sure I get full value out of my government approved daily exercise quota. And also that the weather's good and bad. The weather's been amazing, which is kind of like salt in the wound, because I think if it had rained for 2 weeks, we would have had this corona thing sorted out. Like, no one would have wanted to go anywhere because it's raining and miserable. But because it's been beautiful since the lockdown, everyone wants to go outside and socialize and do barbecues, and you're like, stop, stay inside, wash your hands. But yeah, so happy that the weather's been good, so I've been actually able to work outside, because my apartment, once again, quite small, and I could do floor workouts in my apartment. However, I'm very cautious of the people below us, because I don't want to be that person that's like, I decide to do like 150 burpees and then they're like downstairs being like, oh my god, there's just like banging for like half an hour straight. Like, I don't want to be that person. So I'm like very hesitant to do any major workouts up here. I'll do like an ab circuit or something, like that's it. So I'm limited by my apartment, so I'm happy to have a park very close. I am also grateful for the fact that I went to Egypt when I did, because one, I had a great time, met some great people. Secondly, the week I was there was a good week. The week after I was there, they had mass flooding and it killed 50 people because of massive storms. And then the week after that was when the whole virus situation escalated and everything was locked down and you wouldn't have been able to come back. So if I didn't go then, I wouldn't have been able to go basically at all. I don't know what my trip would have even looked like if I'd been there during the storm as well. Like, maybe, like, yeah, bad times. So incredibly grateful that we managed to get on that holiday, because I am not alone, I know this, but there's been so many people whose holidays have been cancelled for the next foreseeable few months, because everyone was going away in May and June, and that doesn't look like it's happening. That's one thing I'm disappointed about, is that for two reasons actually. The Easter weekend, I was going to go to Ireland and do a road trip, which is obviously, as you probably figured out, not happening. However, I'm happy that it is only Ireland, in that it's not that far. So if I was going to like Australia and it got cancelled, I would have been quite annoyed. Or if I was going to like Antarctica or like some life-changing major holiday that was like all you've ever like looked up to. Whereas reality was Ireland was like 50-pound flights and it's like 40 minutes on a plane, and it's not that hard. So we can definitely go back. So it's not like I'm not never. Does that make any sense? I will be going back. It's not that hard to get there, so it's not the worst one to be cancelled, but it does suck. However, the other downside is that I was looking at things the UK does at Easter, because I was like, oh, maybe get a video out of it, how the UK celebrates Easter versus Australia. You know, how I normally do those videos. So I looked up that stuff. This was before everything went down, and I was like, oh, the UK does some really cute things. Like, there's so many cute like Easter egg hunts with kids, and like I'll go and just be a creep and look at all the cute kids. It's fine. don't worry about it. But I thought it'd be so cute to go to one of those manor houses and like have all the Easter bunny and stuff. It would have been a really wholesome vibe. And I was like, then I was disappointed that I was going to Ireland because I would miss out on all the UK Easter adventures. And now I have neither. So that sucks. I was like, well, maybe if I'm here, then there'll still be Easter things, but there won't be any Easter things. We'll do an Easter egg hunt in my 1-bedroom apartment. But just more reason to stay longer, I guess. One thing I'm disappointed about, my parent, to be honest, it's like an asterisk. I'm not that disappointed yet. We'll see what happens. But my parents were meant to come over in mid-May, and that we're not sure whether it's very touch and go. I think the UK should be up and running by then, but I don't know what Australia is going to be doing. Potentially everything could be like starting to go back unless you're an at-risk person, maybe. But then are the airlines going to be putting flights on? Because they've cut them now, but maybe they'll keep the ones they've got because they don't want to lose money. It's just so unpredictable. I don't know what's happening. The benefit is all they have to worry about is the flight because they were going to stay with us. So they literally just have to get here. Because even if I'm quarantined with them, it's fine. At least I'm seeing them. Like, that's the point of the holiday. Obviously, you want to do things, but at the end of the day, they're coming here for me. So as long as they see me, that's the main thing, or I see them. But yeah. So that's being up in the air is quite hard because I haven't seen them for a year, so it'd be nice. But the other benefit is that because it's quite an easy holiday, they can just come later in the year. So hopefully that happens as well. Once again, we will see. I also had my friends who were supposed to come in June, and I think that's cancelled because he was coming for the Euro Cup, and now that's not on, so I don't know if they're coming, they don't know what they're doing. It's very unpredictable for who will be sleeping on my couch. I can hear people outside. What are you doing? Get inside. I can hear them because they're yelling at each other from 2 meters away. So that's all right. If you're going to be out, do that. I'm grateful that I have so many books to read and I enjoy reading. If anything, I need more time to read because there's so many other things I need to be doing for work and stuff. I would just love to get stuck into a book. So happy for the books. I'm also so happy we have the internet. A lot of the times I sit here and I think, oh, imagine if we went through this even like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and the internet isn't what it is now. Like, I don't know what I'd probably just read more, to be honest, but like streaming, like Netflix, I just got Disney Plus, which Disney is profiting off this so hard, because think of all the parents who have kids at home now and they're trying to entertain them, and then Disney Plus came out, like, sales through the roof. I got it and I wasn't planning on getting it, but I was like, you know what, yeah, I would like to watch the Liz McGuire movie. So I got it. So this is what dreams are made of, guys. This is what dreams are made of. But yeah, so we're very fortunate that we can connect with the internet, and that we have so much entertainment constantly. Like, I know people are like on board, but really there are so many things that you could entertain yourself with. Like, unplug your internet for half a day and you'll realize how unbored you are. Another one is a negative and a positive, is that I'm sad for the NHS, in that, like, I'm sad for the doctors and the nurses and the people, what they're going through to like save lives, and you see all like the shortages in supplies and just the long hours and all the hardship they're going through. Like, I feel very disappointed and sad for them that it's so hard on them. I'm also very grateful for them, so that's why it's a bit of both. I'm so grateful that we live in a country with a nationalised healthcare system, NHS. Because I'm actually filming this on the Friday, and so last night everyone went out and clapped for them, and that was so wholesome and sweet, and our street went off. It was on my Instagram if you saw it. And I just hope that we learn from this, that how important the NHS is. What I would love is that next election, every party's like increase funding so that we don't have to make a choice. But I will always put my vote behind whoever is supporting the NHS. At the end of the day, my #1 priority is society's health, because of reasons like this. I see countries like America who don't have the great healthcare system that Australia and the UK have, and I was talking to Daniel about it, and I would love to be wrong. I've never wanted to be wrong more in my life, but the way I see it is that either they shut down like we have, but they don't have government spending, they don't have the social security support that we get, you know, how the government's paying 80% of our wages and that for people out of business. They don't have that level of support, and so many Americans live paycheck to paycheck with huge debt, so they're going to be high levels of homelessness and unemployment. If that happens, bad times for them. So they're like, okay, if America shuts down, people could lose their houses, which is like bad time. Alternatively, they don't shut down, which is what they look like they're doing now, is they're not shutting down, and they go to work and they risk getting sick and spreading the virus, which, one, obvious reason, death, bad, contagion, but you get sick. And then I read someone who had coronavirus, recovered and left, her hospital bill was $36,000, which once again would make you lose your house, or rent or whatever. So it's just like, you either lose your income or you get a huge bill at the end. Like, it just seems like lose-lose. So reading things like that makes me so grateful for our NHS system, and that I don't think anyone in the UK who gets coronavirus and goes to hospital will lose their house. And even I think that's the other thing I'm really grateful for, is just the UK government. I don't want to get political. I'm not talking parties, just him as a person. I was never his biggest advocate. However, I think the UK's actually handled this incredibly well. I think they could have maybe started a day or two earlier, but in the grand scheme of things, they've done really good. We've got so many volunteers, constant updates. They did the lockdown when people didn't follow the rules. They're enforcing it. Yes, everything could always be better, not denying that, but I think they've done well. I've seen other countries do worse, so I'm like... And then they're covering 80% of lost income, so no one's going to get evicted. And then I think they passed a law saying that if they're banning evictions during the crisis, so you can't actually get evicted from your landlord. They've backed everyone, so you won't lose your home and you won't have a massive bill when you compare that. It's not an easy job, let's be honest, because you don't want people to, like I said, lose their income, lose their money, blah, blah, blah. So I think they've handled it really well. And unfortunately, we've lived somewhere that's actually being somewhat proactive. Yes, they could have done it earlier, blah, blah, blah. But they're doing the right thing now, and I'm happy with that. Number one thing I'm obviously disappointed about, but I want to put it in just because I feel like if I don't say it, people are going to be like, "Dah," in the comments. I'm so sad for everyone who is affected by it, whether it's you, your grandmother, your grandfather, your child, whoever. If you are sick from this virus, even if you don't get it severe, it's quite hard. My cousin has been diagnosed. A friend of mine who's a nurse who works for the NHS has been diagnosed. I know people personally, and it's not a fun sickness to go through, regardless of if you need a ventilator. And obviously that's a whole other issue, and people dying, and it's all awful. Obviously that's the biggest negative to everything. I hope, for my own sake, you know that I don't need to say that, but I'm gonna say it because I know someone out there will think that I didn't think of that. But 100%, all I do is check statistics and extrapolate data and try and predict when this will be over. Looking at the death rates and hoping and praying that it goes down every day. I'm obviously incredibly empathetic to everyone who's affected by this. As per, I think my previous video was me basically crying about that. So it is what it is, but I wish it wasn't it. The number one thing I'm grateful for is my dog, Bambi, who I don't even know who she is. I managed to lose her in this tiny ass apartment. I'm happy I have a dog because she has kept me sane. She gives me a reason to go out, so I have to walk her to go to the toilet because we live in an apartment. Has to happen, so she gives me a reason, she gets excited, she has no idea what's going on, so she's always in a good mood. So when I look at the data and I get very sad and like is doom and gloom about everything, she pops up and like with a big smile on her face and is like, is it walkies time again? I read a thing that was like, it's a conspiracy that the virus was created by dogs to keep humans inside, because now we have to go for walks with them. Like, it's our only time you can get outside is if you're walking the dog. So dogs get so many more walks, so many more cuddles, and so much more extra food because we're home dropping it all the time. So yeah, I believe it. So the number one conspiracy I'm on board with is dogs created the virus. So grateful that I have her. I also see friends with kids, and I'm like, now would be a good time to have a toddler to play with, because they're similar to a dog in that like they have no idea what's going on and they're in a good mood and they always want to play. So like, that's what you need that energy in your life. So there you have it. That is my 5 things that I'm like accepting, but accepting that they're being negative on my mood and not moving on, can't move on from the death and destruction, but like things like missing Hamilton. And telling you 10 things I do feel good about, that I can work out, that I have the internet, that I have a dog. There's always a silver lining. I am a big believer in that. If you look for positives, you'll find them, and if you look for negatives, you will find them. So always look for the positives. But that's all I had for this video. I do have some more better content coming. I just have felt like a bit of a drain lately, and I needed to just collect myself, as per my last video was me like basically my feelings and sadness about everything, and this is me taking that sadness and turning it into a positive list. But if you have any recommendations for videos, please tell me, because my creative juices are not flowing. However, I'll give you a hint of what we have on the weekend. I have a quarantine kitchen. I'm gonna do some cooking, and maybe a workout, because what else is there? Do leave me recommendations below. I might even do a Q&A, so if you want to leave any questions below, I will do quarantine kitchen Q&A. So questions, whether it's like, what do you think about blah? Or would you rather have a million arms for legs or a million legs for arms? Give me any questions, anything to entertain me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time. I will see you guys on Sunday.